More than a month has passed since SPIEL Essen 23 ended, and I have yet to unpack many of the games that I brought home from that game convention. Partly just because I've been busy, but also because I wanted to hold off and unpack them on camera as a service for you. Yes, in case you find yourself in the situation where you have possibly too many games to reasonably fit in a suitcase, and you need to conserve volume and weight, get everything down so that it fits. You don't have an overweight suitcase that will cost you more money, so that you can bring as little as possible on the plane so that you can travel more easily. You may or may not find yourself in this situation. As longtime Board Game Geek employee, I get a number of review copies from publishers. So that's most of what I'm going to show you here, where publishers are offering a game. I am not asking for a game, but they're offering in the hopes that I cover it. So just thought I'd lay that out up front. I'll indicate when I bought things just so you know what the proportion is of everything shown here. But let's look at what's on the table, and then I'll unpack from there. Here are 11 boxes that I brought home from SPIEL Essen 23 in my suitcase. Yes, it already seems like a lot, admittedly 11 games, but let's see what's hiding inside all the boxes. The first step to packing, when I get back to the hotel in the evening, I'm trying to consolidate everything. Well, throw out the insert. I had done a preview of Far Away after playing it at Gen Con with the publisher. They offered a published copy of the game, and Far Away is very cool, but it's also just 2 decks of cards that fit in this space. So once you throw out the insert for Far Away, an insert that is not really needed, you can fit in other things. So I had 2 other card games inside the box of Far Away. And maybe you'll say, well, now everything's going to slide around in the box. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'll bag the cards. Maybe I won't. Depends, am I traveling with this? Is it just going to stay on my shelf? Is it really going anywhere? I mean, these are just card games. There's not much to do to condense these or to fit other things inside. But I get a fair number of card games, and you can usually fit something else once you throw out the insert, as was the case with Surfasaurus Max, which I've played 3 times now with 6 players. It's a very cool semi-cooperative game. I'll do a video on it soon. I want to play it with other player counts to get a better idea of it. But you can see, stack all the cards. You have all this space. When I set up to play Surfasaurus Max, I realized I was missing the first player marker, and I had actually tucked it inside the trio box. So that actually goes inside here, and now everything is set for Surfasaurus Max, and trio goes here. It can be tricky with the packing. Sometimes you may lose components, which seems silly because everything was in the box to begin with. If you are incredibly aggressive with trying to save space, as I was in my olden days, I would pack components inside other boxes and boards all together. I would put like a stack of boards inside my carry-on. It'd be like a 15-pound brick of boards just in my backpack. And you try to look like you're not struggling as you bring this thing on the plane. But I found reassembling everything very difficult because the board was here and some components were here and some other components might be here and things would get lost. And now I don't do that anymore. I just fit things inside the same box with as much care as I can. Ritual was a game I purchased. Someone recommended it being very much my taste, so I went and bought a copy. And inside is a little rolling right from Schmidt. And inside that is a copy of Make 10, which I bought. Is there anything inside Make 10? There is not. Just the game. Okay, so 3 games in 1. I mean, look at all this space. Obviously, publishers make boxes in particular sizes because they want to be consistent with a line of games. We're going to have a whole bunch of games in this size. You kind of know what to expect in terms of the weight of the game, the cost of the game, the components that are inside. It's consistent. It's marketing to put everything together. But that often, depending on the design, well, you end up with a lot of wasted space that you can't do anything about. I cut down boxes, but can't cut down a metal box. This is it. This is all I have. Unless I had other Schmidt titles sort of in the same line. Maybe I end up putting them all in the same box. I have done that before. My Codenames and Codenames pictures are all in the same Codenames box because it fits. I don't need both of them separately. Ritual has all this extra space. So what was one box of Ritual is now 3 boxes. So that would take up a lot more room in the suitcase. Speaking of cutting up boxes, I happened to run into designer Ivan Lashin, designer of Furnace, who said he was very amused by my video where I cut up the Furnace box and made it roughly 1/3 of its original size. And he said, have you been able to fit the expansion in the box? And I said, do not have the expansion actually. And he said, let me give you the expansion and then you can see whether it fits or not. So here's this. Some other components. What is this? Postcards? I do not remember these. Promotional postcards I got probably from the meeting at Asmodee. Why do I have those? These random Dixit cards. Yes, random Dixit cards. 7 Wonders promo card. You get some strange things sometimes in publisher meetings. And here we go. Furnace components. I will try to fit these into the box itself another time. Or at worst, I will just put all Furnace inside the expansion box. And then I'll have it all together. This game I bought on clearance. There was a whole bunch of clearance going on at SPIEL Essen, which is normal. BlackRock Editions had tons of games for like €5, €3. That's what I did. I got this one for €3. I think it was 3. I looked it up. Seemed interesting. All right. So what's inside here? Well, before we do this, you get boxes that are the same size. Often you can fit things inside just because they're the same size. You have an idea of what's going to fit. So typically what I would do at night, again, open up everything, throw out the inserts, and then just line up the game. So here is what was in the game. All right, you got this spiral notebook, you got cards, you got a few tokens, you got all this space here. And then I have, well, I actually have 3 games in this Pick Up End series by Rainer Knizia. 999 Games. Didn't have a booth at Spiel, but I was meeting with the publisher. He was showing some upcoming games. And he brought copies because he had showed them to me at Spiel 22. Knew I like Knizia. That I didn't live in the Netherlands and brought them as samples. What's in here? Oh, hey, it's another card game, of course. So this inside this. So mostly I would set things up around the hotel room, open them up, and then eventually just find like what's the biggest thing that could fit inside this space. Put that in there, close the lid. And then once something has the lid closed, you know it can't have any more go in it, but it could go into something else. And in this case, it would fit inside this box. So again, another 3-in-1. And I did this with a number of these square boxes because, again, they're all the same size. Here's this, was it a collectible game trader, where it's a game about a collectible card game. This is a mock-up prototype from someone who was trying to pitch it. I'll keep that hidden because I don't know if that should be public. Here was a solo version of this and another card game. Yes. And then once all that is out, you see what was in the box originally. I mean, there was an insert, but the insert went away. And I fit this inside. You can look at the square footage, right? All that stuff inside here. Saving space. Space is valuable because you need to be able to close your suitcase. The weight is valuable because you can't go over 50 pounds or 23 kilograms. So that's one reason it toss out the inserts. Maybe rules in other languages as well. Here is a cat with a bell. Someone gave me as a gift. Here is an avocado that looks like it's screaming, but is possibly happy. There's a bonus from Trio. Lion Soulmates, bonus tokens for challengers. I ran into the publisher and he threw these at me. Okay. Donuts. It's a published version of this Bruno Cathala game Insert that's fabulous. It's a fantastic two-player game. I'm so delighted they came out with a published version just because I played online, but it's not the same as playing with a physical copy. So I bought this from Funforge. Got the donut pieces. Sort of has this Othello element where you're flipping pieces over. But the important thing is you are flipping things over when you are inserting your piece and it's sandwiched by the other color. Then you flip the endpoint, so it's reverse Othello. Here's a patch for Lem, first player marker. And now I forget what this is from. But it's not essential that I know. I can even use it for anything. Maybe it is essential. Maybe it'd bug you if you don't know that. Well, if so, then don't do what I did. But I probably got thrown the first player marker and forgot where it came from. Sea Merchants. It's a new version by Truffle of this Knizia game. Yes, him again. I got lots of Knizia stuff. It's a fantastic game. It doesn't have great ratings, but the whole point is you are investing in certain goods. Right? So you're going to put your marker in certain goods to show that you're invested in them. And then as you invest, you're trying to score in them. And then you're going to swap out over time and score other things. So you've got this wave of goods that come and go, is where they're valuable, when they're not valuable, and you're trying to time it with other people, sort of working with them to get all that together and score it at the right time. But ideally, you get a little bit more than them just to edge it out. It's a very cool game. This is the third or fourth edition that has come out from a Polish publisher this time, Truffle. Not sure whether it'll get better reception than it has in the past. It's very cool, though. A couple of Logic games from, what is it, Blam? Oh, Banky's Editions, yes. Cool Logic games, which are not in the BGG database, but I love Logic games, so there we go. Brought those home as well. Another Knizia game with a Knizia inside, with another game inside, so I get another 3-in-1 package. Played this at Spiel Essen 23. It's cool. I need more plays. It seemed like it was possibly too easy. It's a cooperative game where you're trying to play cards, and you have to play either a higher number or a higher ranked color. So you got the wave because you may play a higher number, but it's a lower color. And now you can play a higher color, and then possibly it's a lower number. So then you can play a higher number, and so you're floating on the waves of numbers and colors, trying to play all the cards successfully. Whoops, don't need to back that back up. Trying to play all the cards in order to win. So another 3-in-1. Oh, hey, look, it's another Knizia. This is one I requested from Edition Spielwiese. Previewed it after getting a look at Gen Con. And inside, it's another prototype from, I'm not sure it should be public. A couple other card games from Kindy Games, which is Stefan Bendorf and Reinhard Staup left NSV and they started another company with Franz Jota. And I love their style. Haven't played any of these yet. Wolfgang is out in France from Gigamic. I got a preview of Gigamic of new things coming out and upcoming titles. It's got a very interesting little packing thing here. So it's got this hook sort of to hang, but then it pulls open as well. In any case, there you go. 3 games inside this other game, which has not much else in it. And then Michael at Edition Spielwiese said, here, take this as well. Wolfgang Warsch title. That seems wavelength-ish. And inside, look at this. Oh, there's all sorts of stuff in here. This is a game I bought from the flea market. I met someone and bought this. It's an old UK game in a VHS holder. I bought this used. This was not a review copy. And then this is a game that's not out yet, coming from Ludically, where they were demoing it. It's got like a weird packaging and look to it right now because this is not for publication, not for retail sale. It just got the components inside, rules, so the rules file, so you can try it, so to possibly help publicize it before the game is actually released. This is a fair number of things that I get along those lines. So there you go. Everything that came out, and then if I try to stack it back the way it was before. There we go. Can I even fit it all in the shot? I forgot ritual needs to go on the bottom. Screaming avocado, just to top it off. It's a lot more than what it initially looked like. You just ditch all the weight, ditch the sorting supply trays. God, I can't even talk anymore. And there you go. You'll fit in a lot more than you thought you might. There you go. Possibly you will never need advice like this. You do not have games thrown at you. I realize I'm in an unusual situation. Well, because I've been doing this now for more than 15 years full time. So I guess I've built up a reputation as someone who occasionally talks about games and gives them publicity. And so therefore, publisher gives you a game and it's like a lottery. The cost of the game versus possible coverage. I guess that's how they figure it'll work. And if I cover something, then great. If not, well, then I have this game and play it at some time or pass it on to the BGG library, or it'll just sit on the shelf for years until finally I look at it and I say, why do I still have that game? That happens sometimes too. Sorry, publishers. I just being honest here. So maybe I missed another tip, but there you go. It's pretty straightforward. Unpack everything. Punch all the pieces, bag the components. Again, you're reducing weight, throwing out the punch boards. You don't need those. If you got rules in other languages, you can toss those as well. There are recycling bins at the mesa, so you can bring all the paper, shove it inside the recycling bin, pull out all the inserts. I had only, I think, 2 plastic inserts in all the games I brought home. There were, I think, a few others than this. But very few publishers are using plastic inserts anymore because they're switching to paper or recycled cardboard or sort of this in-between green-friendly material. It's very interesting to see that. A lot of companies just going without, where they will just have stickers. Like Amigo is doing this, and the Candy games, they just have little stickers, and that's it. That's all you got. Sticker, no other plastic on the inside, and then when you open it up, probably there's no plastic on the card. It's just going to be a paper sleeve. A lot of plastic reduction coming into play, which is good because that just goes in the trash anyway. So the more you can reduce, the better it is for the environment. The more you can reduce, the better it is for your trip home. Or don't get the games in the first place. But it's hard to look at a publisher and be like, that game? Nah, don't want that. No. So I don't do it. Hope that helps.